What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in this week's Advanced Balkan Architect course, we're up to part 9 of our office building in Revit course. Now, in this part, we finish off the whole exterior, the whole site plan, the surroundings. So as you can see, I've added a little sidewalk here. We have this where you can walk up to the building. Then we have a little parking area. I've used these parametric parking spots, which are actually going to become in really useful later on when we create a schedule for this. Here we have even a handicapped parking spot. We have some road markings, lines, things like that. So everything is completed and looking nice. Then moving on inside, I show you how to do the ceiling plan, and I show you all of the tips and tricks and everything that you need to know for completing this ceiling plan and adding all of the lights to your ceiling plan. And then after we've finished adding all of the lights, I show you how to do a ceiling plan for construction. So this is a different ceiling plan. We've basically peeled away all of the lights in the ceiling, and here, as you can see, now we have the floor construction over here, the beams, the beam system, everything, and it's all properly tagged. So this is also really important to include in your models. And also I've shown you how to create this path of travel tool, which is really useful. So as you can see here, it calculates immediately the time that it takes to go from the farthest part of the office all the way here to the stair shaft to escape in an emergency situation. So that's really cool. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering in this week's course. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to be continuing on with the exterior of the building, or the surrounding of the building, adding some sidewalks, some grass, maybe some plants, a parking lot, things like that. But before we do all of that, there is just one thing that I would like to discuss briefly, and that's when you want to add grass around the building. I like to add grass as close as possible to this building, but there's just a little problem with that. Now let me navigate here to this section. You can also find it here in the project browser. Just scroll down a little bit. Here we have sections, and then let's just go with section 2. Now here, if we look at this building, now if I were to have just grass come along all the way to the building, there is a problem that may occur. And the problem with that is water comes running down this wall from rain and all of that. And when the rain is kind of collecting here, it might go underneath your foundation, and then it might start eroding the ground underneath your foundation. And if the ground gets unequally eroded in different places of your building, you might get cracks in the foundation. Now, to mitigate that, you add a little bit of a skirt, so to say, around your building, and you do that just as a small piece of sidewalk. Now, to make it look nice, what I like to do is I like to add a stone sidewalk. So basically how I would go approaching something like this would be to create a new floor. So I'm going to navigate here to our street level floor plan. Here we go. And here, let's start a floor command. And now here, what I'm going to do is just use one of these floors, and then I'm going to be modifying it. So let's go with this one. Let's go edit, and let's go here with a duplicate. And I'm going to call this one, let's call it foundation skirt. Because that's the idea behind this little piece of floor. Now here we can leave the structure maybe concrete. Let's go with 10 centimeters. And here for the finish, I'm going to go with, yeah, we can go with 4 centimeter finish. Let's just change the material to gravel. Let's see what we have for gravel. Okay, here we go. We have some gravel loaded in, and if I go to appearance, it looks like that. I guess I'm happy with that. So let's just click OK. OK again. OK. And having gravel just makes everything look a bit more natural, so that's why I like to have it. Now I'm just going to go here with pick lines and pick these exterior lines of the building, just like that. Go all the way over here. There we go. And same thing here. Now let's give it an offset. We can go maybe with a 60 centimeter offset. And then let's just go like this all the way around the building. just giving that that little layer that's going to block the water from eroding your foundation. Now I'm just going to go here with lines and just close this off, just like that. Same thing here. And then if you have any misses like this, you just go with the trim and extend tool and you just fix that up. We have one here. And I think that's it. So also one more thing, because your ground is going to be at level 0, 0, this is going to be just a little bit above ground, so we can do it maybe 2 centimeter offset from the ground level, and then hit apply, okay, and there we go. Now if we go into 3D, here we're going to have that little concrete skirt that's preventing water from eroding your foundation. So that's really useful to have. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the real sidewalk here for the building. Let's now navigate here to our street level, and then we have to create a new floor for our sidewalk. So for that, I'm just going to go here to floor, and then we can use this one. Go here into edit type, structure, or first let's of course duplicate it and let's call it sidewalk. Okay, hit OK, and then for structure, let's just get rid of that gravel finish layer, just hit delete, and then we can just leave it with the cast in place concrete, or maybe you can choose some different material, of course. Choose whatever you prefer for your sidewalk, and then let's just click OK here, OK again, and there we go. Okay, so with the new floor created, we can here sketch out a floor. So I'm going to go just like this. Go out maybe 350 centimeters, then go at 45 degrees, which is here 135, like this. Okay, there we go, kind of like that. And then we can do the same thing on the other side. Now here I'm just going to follow this edge of the wall, maybe like that. Now let's see, this distance is 258, so let's just keep that. So I'm just going to go with the pick lines tool, and then here type in 258, and then I'm going to click like this, just so we have the same distance here as we have here, so everything is matching properly. That's why I do it that way. There we go. We can do the same thing again, and then go like this, and there we go. Now just go with trim and extend, just like that, and we can cap it off over here, just like that. Maybe extend it a little bit, yeah. Okay, so once we have this in place, I'm going to select it all, and yeah, I think we here have to add one line like this to finish it off. There we go. Now just select that, and then go with the mirror tool with the pick axis option, and then I like to mirror it around the center axis, which is this. And then let's just zoom in over here. Okay, it's slightly offset, so I'm going to go here with the move tool and just move it here in place. Okay, this looks correct now. One more thing that I would like to do is here for the parking lot. I want to have a parking lot over here, so I'm going to just sketch that out quickly, and then I'm going to leave an opening here for the cars. So for the parking lot, we can go just like this. Now I'm sketching out the inner part of the parking lot, so keep that in mind. Now the distance here should be between these two lines should be around 6 meters or 600 centimeters, just under at least under regulation in my country. So let's go just like this with maybe 500 centimeters, which is the just the default length of a exterior parking lot parking spot. Okay, let's go like this all the way here. So then for this distance, make sure it's just divided by 2.5. In this case, 2.5 is the default width of a parking spot, so maybe go to 1250. But for now, or 12,000. Let's just sketch it out like this, and now we can adjust the numbers. So this should be just like that. Oops, let's go back. So this is 12 meters. Yeah, 12.5, yeah. Let's go like this, okay. Now this distance should be 500. There we go. Okay, so once you have that, now we can just do the pick lines to kind of give it that little sidewalk that goes all the way around. Maybe just 100 centimeters will do. So just go like this all the way around. Oops. Okay, there we go. And once you have this in place, here you want to use the split line tool to split this part. So for that, you would go here with the split line tool. There we go. SL is the shortcut for that. And then just go like this, trim and extend here, unjoin, trim and extend here, unjoin elements. And then I like to use the split line here as well. And then you go trim and extend like this. Okay, so once you have done this, then you go with the fillet arc tool, and then you fillet it as long as it makes sense. So here, it might be like 3 meters. I think it's enough, so just go to 300. So once we know it's 300 here, for the second fillet, you can check here radius, and then type in 300, and then you just click once, twice, there you go. Okay, so here we have a nice little curb, or a nice little sidewalk with a parking lot sketched out. Now here I'm just going to use the trim and extend to finish these little trouble spots here, and that's about it. So we have all of our sidewalk now completed, so just hit finish. Okay, so here it seems to be finding a problem that some lines aren't closed. In this case, you can go here and click show, and then let's close this off. And okay, so it recognizes this line here. So if I zoom out, as you can see, it's really far away. So I don't know really how this line got here, but let's just continue and then select it, hit delete, zoom out, and let's try hitting finish again. And there we go, now it works. So when you just click show, it will immediately navigate to the trouble point. Okay, now it would be a good idea to do our asphalt, so where the cars go. And for that, again, we're going to be using floors. So let's go here to floor, and then, yeah, let's go just into edit type. And then here I'm going to duplicate this one, and let's call it asphalt. I hope I spelled that right. Let's go now into structure, and here let's just change the structure to as. Okay, looks like I did. Okay, so let's just go here to OK. Now the thickness you can change. Now you can add multiple, multiple layers if you want to have your roads realistic in section views. Now currently in this project, I'm just doing the all of this building surroundings for aesthetic reasons, just for renderings, things like that. So for that reason, I'm not going to bother with adding multiple layers for this. So I'm just going to go here with OK. Okay, again, and then let's go, and I can actually use pick lines for this, and then you can basically just go all around. Now you can go like this, and just using the tab key make a selection of the whole thing, but just because here we don't want to have the whole thing, we just want to have some parts, I'm just going to go like this. Okay, and then for the rest of it, I'm going to use pick lines again with the 600 centimeter offset, which is like the default road dimension. And then let me add one line like this here, and then we can use just trim and extend here to trim and extend this to here, and then close it off like this. Okay, so once we have all of this in place, here for the height offset we use 2 centimeters. Now let's just go down to -8 centimeters, so we have 10 centimeters height in total, or we can do maybe -6, I don't know. Then we have an 8 centimeter in total. Now if we go into 3D just to double check that, yeah, so here, as you can see, this is that difference. So it almost forms a curb, but we're actually going to be adding a curb family later on. Now, once you have this asphalt insert over here, let's go back into our street level. And now I want to use modify this floor sidewalk just to include the other side. So let's go here into edit boundary, and then I'm just going to add another rectangular element over here, just like that. And let's change this here, a temporary dimension to here, and then let's do 258, which is the same size as the other side. Now here, just thinking about this, it might be a good idea to extend this just a little bit, and then just add a small strip here on which we can host our sidewalk later on, and then just use trim and extend to kind of trim and extend this. And there we go. So we have something that looks really nice. Now just to hit finish, and there we go. Now let's just go into 3D, and this is what we have. Now for the curb, we have many different approaches to creating curbs in Revit. My favorite one is to go, and here if I open up the drop menu for floor, you see we have the slab edge option. Now we used something like that here for our foundation, so we used the slab edge for foundation. So here on structure, underneath foundation slab, we have slab edge, and I'm going to be using the same tool to do our curb. So what I need to do is have a new profile family, and then I'm going to be using that profile family for my slab edge, which will be that curb. Okay, so to see what that would look like, let's go here into the section view, and here maybe extend this section view a little bit. Just like that. There we go. So here you can measure this height. Now I already know the height, but let's just measure it to double check. And yeah, it's 8 centimeters. So we need an 8 centimeter curb for something like this. Okay, so for that, let's just go here to File, and then let's go with new family. Now for family, just scroll down all the way here to profiles. Now ideally, it would be great if you can find a profile family that's specific for our slab edge, but as you can see here, if we go, we have the metric profile, we have the hosted, mullion, rail, reveal, stair nosing, and then that's it. So let's go just with the default metric profile, open that up. So now once we've opened this family up, let's go with simple lines, and then let's go like this, and I want to go 80 millimeters, maybe like this. There we go. Now I'm going to select this edge, and now as you can see, if I move this, it won't move the other one. But let's go back. If I select this, hold the control key, select this one as well. Now this isn't no longer this blue dot. It's kind of a, well, it's still blue, but it's just a line. It's empty, it's not filled. And now you can move it, and it actually moves both of those. So let's just move it in just a little bit, and then let me go here to create, and let's go with the lines, just so we can access our fillet arc option, and then we can kind of fillet arc, and let's go with the 20 millimeter fillet. Let's go back to modify. There we go. Okay, so once we have this profile created, you want to save it and then use it in the project. Now, of course, always first save the family and then load it in the project. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so let's go here to save, and then I'm going to go just to desktop, and let's save it as a curb profile. There we go. Now we can load this into the project. We can actually load it in and close it off. Okay, so once this is loaded in, go back to your architecture tab, open up the drop menu for floors, and go with the slab edge. Now once you're here, go here into edit type. We can create a new type family type. Now here, let's call it slab edge / curb. Hit enter, and here for the profile, open up the drop menu, and here let's see, do we have that profile? And here we do. Here we have it, the curb profile. Now for the material, you want to go with something white, so let's just type in white and see what comes up. So we don't really have that many white elements. Let's go with the, or let's go with paint maybe. So most of these are metal. Maybe let's go with the gypsum wallboard for this, or you can maybe use the same family and just right click, duplicate, and maybe call it curb material, I don't know. And then once we're here, we can check the appearance, and yeah, it looks nice enough. We have basically the same type of material. We've just changed, we've just created a new material just so we don't use the same material. And because if later on we want to use the material takeoffs to create maybe some schedules, things like that, it's a good idea to have a separate material for that. Okay, so we have the new material. Let's hit apply, and OK, and it's going to be white, so let's just go here with OK. And now go to architecture, go to floor, go with the floor slab edge, and then let's go with curb. And here you just come over here, find this line, click once, and there we go. So if you can see here in the edge, we have our curb. So here I can add it here. Did it do it? Nope. There we go. And then just go all the way to the other side. And then here I want to add it here on the inside of the building as well. I like to have it like this, just to have that little white boundary between the between our sidewalk and the grass. And here, of course, I like to add it on the exterior of this floor as well. Just again, as I said, just a little boundary. I think it looks really nice. And do the same thing on the other side here. Now, I think that's almost everything. Okay, we have to do this side as well. So here, oops. So yeah, let's go back here. Floor slab edge, add it there. Now, if it's for any reason oriented in the wrong side, you can always flip it upside down if necessary, or the other way around. Now here it's going to give you a pop-up warning, so let's cancel that. Let's go back here into floor slab edge, add that here as well, and I think that's it. Okay, here we have to add one more, and that should be it. Okay, here we've missed a few. Okay, I hope this is it. Now, it might be a bit easier if you turn on your realistic view, just because then with the colors it's going to pop out. So let's go here to realistic. Wait for a second. There we go. And here, as you can see now, it's a bit easier to see these white curbs. And there we go. I think we have them pretty much everywhere. Yes, we do. And there we go. So those are all of the curbs completed. Now, if you're perhaps wondering why this building looks so black over here, that's just because here we have some reflective material, and reflective material in a realistic view looks black. But don't worry, when we render this, it will be nice and mirrored. Now, to complete this portion of the exterior of the building or of the site, we of course need to have grass. Now, to add grass, you have two options really. Now, this building is on a flat surface, and it's pretty much flat all around. At least that's how we're going about it. But in case if everything is around is flat, you can, if you're just doing the surrounding for cosmetic reasons, you can of course just do it as a simple floor. So you would just create a floor and you would add the material, just grass, and that would be it. Now, in this case, I can do it like that, but I really prefer to go here to mask inside and then use topo surface. Even if it's just flat, I just prefer to make it as a topo surface. Maybe it's going to be a bit easier later on for some parametric reasons, or you might want to change it just a little bit. So that's why I'm going to go with this tool. Now here, let's go down to our street level for this, or you can go to site. Now, if you want to add your topo surface in any other level but the site, you have to make some changes to the visibility graphics. So let's go here to site so we don't have to make those changes. Now here we just go to place points, and then the elevation, let's leave it at 0, and then let's just add just a few points like this. There we go. So this looks pretty decent. Yeah, and there we go. We have our surrounding. Now you can make it a bit bigger if necessary, or you can make it smaller, just depending on what you're trying to achieve. Now let's leave it off like this, and then let's hit finish. Now if I go here into 3D, you're going to notice that it's all dark and it kind of swallowed everything. Okay, I guess this is now on level 1, and we actually want it to be down on that street level. So let me go here into section just to double check where the street level is at. Okay, it's minus 100. So I have to make that change now. I guess I made a small mistake there. So just go here back into edit surface, select all of the points, just making a cross selection, and here for elevation let's just type in -100, and there we go. So now everything is above ground. Now if we go into 3D, okay, looks much better. Now we still can't see the road. The reason for that is just the road is a little bit below, and now you can fix that in a couple of ways. You can either go ahead and make that a bit lower, so by adding some points, or alternatively what you can always do is kind of split it or cut it out. So for that, let me select this, go into edit surface, go into the site plan, and actually let me extend it just a little bit like this. There we go. Okay, so now that it's extended, let's hit finish here in the site plan, and then let's go with split surface. And then we have to select the surface, and now we're just going to be splitting it along that inner line where we have our the asphalt. So just follow this line here, and then, or you can go maybe with pick lines to make it a bit easier on yourself. So just go like this, and you split the surface all the way around. So you're just following that asphalt, or maybe let me try something else. Maybe it's a bit quicker. Go with pick lines, and then let's try to select that asphalt beneath. There we go. So it's a bit quicker. So you just hit the tab key a couple of times till it gives you that selection, and then you just click once, and here we go. We have the full selection. Hit finish, and now as you can see, this is a separate piece of site topography, and we can just select delete, and there we go. Now we can actually see our road. Now once this is done, we can turn this into maybe some grass material. Now I'm going to go here to material, go into these little three dots here in the properties panel for topography, and then let's just search for grass. Or maybe plant, let's see. Now if you don't see any results, let me try again here in the materials. Now sometimes it may show you this, that there are no materials in the library. I'm not really sure why this is, but this is something that tends to happen, at least with Revit 2020 version. So in this case, what you should do is just cancel out of this, and then save your project, and just restart your project, and it should be there. So let me just close the project and then restart it. So I'm just going to close out of everything. It's actually good that this happened, so I can show you the problem. And now I can just restart that project, which is here. Open it up, select the topo surface, go here into by category to choose material, and now if I search for grass, okay, it's still no results. So maybe just turn off Revit altogether and then try again. Okay, so I have restarted the project, and now if I select this and go here into material, now hopefully it will be working. So if I go here, grass, there we go, now we have grass. So that's just a problem that I found that occurs with Revit from time to time, and if it happens, you just restart Revit. I guess you can't just close the project, you should probably just restart Revit altogether. Okay, let's load in this grass material, hit apply, okay. And there we go, looks much nicer and greener, and I actually really like the look. Now let's add a tree or two, so let's go here into our street level. Now to add trees, usually the trees that come with Revit are here under Mask and Site, Site Components, and these are the trees that come with Revit, so it's something like this. Now if I place this here and go into 3D, let's go. Here as you can see, it looks decent here in like this when we're on realistic, but if I go here in hidden line, it appears just like this. So it's like two images that are kind of crossed together, and we have this tree that looks kind of weird. And now I really don't like these trees because they look odd. They look halfway decent in renderings, but that really depends on the angle. So let me switch here to realistic, and if I were to look at this tree, okay, it looks nice, but if I orbit around on top like this, you're going to notice that it looks really flat like this. So that's just because it's using an image to represent a tree, and I don't really like that. So what I like to do is to have an actual 3D tree. So I've loaded one in over here. So if I go here to Site Components, I have this 3D tree, and I can place it like this. And as you can see, it's a nice 3D geometry tree, and when you render this, it looks absolutely stunning. So I'm going to be using this tree for this project. Now if you're looking for this family, I am going to be including it in the exercise files, so you can just download it and use it maybe in this project or in your future projects. It's a really nice family. Okay, so that's pretty much it for site components. Feel free to add as many trees or plants as you want, just to make this look a bit livelier. Now, one more thing that we should definitely mention when talking about the surroundings of the building is the parking spots. Now, parking spots, you can create all of the lines that go here along this road many different ways, and we're going to be exploring that. But for parking spots, it's really a good idea to use one of the parking spot families that come with Revit. Now, if you're using Revit 2020 or maybe some of the earlier versions, and if you're using the architectural template, by default you should have parking spots loaded into your project. So if you go here to component and open up the drop menu, just if you scroll almost to the bottom, here you should have your parking spots. So let's see, they should be somewhere here. Okay, here we go. They're called underscore parking space. Okay, so we have multiple options here. I'm going to use the 90-degree one, as that's the one that we need here for our parking space. But the problem with this, it's, as you can see, 480 or 4800 by 2400 millimeter parking spot, and our parking spaces are a bit larger than that. So what I'm going to be doing is just selecting one of these families, going here into edit type, duplicate, and then let's just change the dimension. So here let's go with 5, and this should be 5 as well. Then click OK, and yeah, okay, let me just rename this to get rid of that number 2. There we go. And here you would just have to well, resize this. So let's go with 500 by 250. Hit OK, and it should be bigger now. Okay, so once we have this in place, as you can see, you can host it on your floor. But let me go to street level for that, or maybe even site. There we go. And then you just go here to component, and there we go. Let's flip it around, and then you can place it like this. Now I'm just going to place it like that, and then select it, go here to move, and then select the corner and move it actually here right into the corner. Okay, so we have one of these now in place. Now once this one is placed, I can go here to copy, go with multiple, and then let's just go from this corner all the way to the center of this one and the center of this one, and I think I can do a couple of more. Okay, so there we go. We have a few of these parking spaces. Okay, it looks like we have a bit more room, so I can kind of center this a little bit more. There we go. And to copy it to the other side, what you can do is just go here with mirror draw axis. Try to find the center of this line over here. Click once, pull your cursor all the way down, and then, as you can see, you just mirror it to the other side, and there we go. We have all of our parking places, our parking spots. Now if we go just into 3D, as you can see, they're all aligned to level 0, or our ground level. Now if I select these, and actually I want to move them down to street level, but not actually street level, I want to move them here on this floor. Now to see the height of this floor, if I can only select it, there we go. So it's -6 centimeters. So we should use that offset for these parking spots as well. So just orbit around like this. So you can select all of those, then orbit around again. Then you change their level to street level, and you change their offset from host to -6. Hit enter. And there we go. Now, as you can see, they're on the ground, and they actually make these yellow lines that actually look fairly decent. Now, this is really cool because we're going to be able to use these later on for our calculations. So there we go. That's how you create parking spaces. Now, if you want to take your road markings on an extra level, what you can always do is just go here to component, and then go to load family. Now, once you're here, just scroll down and find your site folder, and when you open that up, here we have a parking folder. Now this doesn't only include the parking family, which is this over here, but we have this parking symbol for disabled people, which is really useful. We also have the pavement stripe. We have the some of these islands for parking, which is really useful. Then we have the arrows, that's cool, and we have this little curb, which is also quite useful. Now for this one, I'm just going to be using maybe the stripe, this parking symbol, maybe the straight and turn arrows, and yeah, we can just go with that. Now let me just open these up. So now we have those families opened up, and now for example this stripe, you can just place it right here and then go maybe into site or maybe into street level, and then you can play around with it. Okay, it's not visible in street level. Let's see why. Because it is located there. So let's then go into site. I guess it's a site component, and once we go here into street level, we can't see site components. Now this is due to some of the visibility graphics settings. So if I go here to visibility graphic overrides by clicking here or by using the VG shortcut, it opens up that menu. So let's scroll down to site and let's see what's going on. So let's scroll down. Okay, site, open that up. Okay, so here everything seems to be checked. So let's see. Now, if everything here is checked, then you should go and click OK. Now, let's see what else can be the problem. Well, that is located here on this floor, and that floor is has the -6 centimeter offset, and it can be due to that. So to change that, scroll down a bit over here in your properties or your view properties and find view range and open it up here by clicking into edit, or alternatively, you can just type in VR for view range, and here we go. And now here, if you change this to unlimited, the bottom and the view depth, then you can pretty much edit everything unlimited, and as you can see now we can have the whole site as well as all of the parking spots as well as this line over here. Now I'm going to select this line, and then let's just go here with the move tool, and let's move it here to the center of this line. There we go, just like that. And now we can okay, here we have the stripe length. Now you can change it to that if necessary, so maybe let's change it to 400. There we go, we have a 400 centimeter stripe, and then you can copy it. I'm going to go to copy, let's leave multiple selected, and then let's just copy it by the value of 800. So that's like double, and you can actually extend it just like this and then just go 800, 800, 800, or you can use an array. Now this is quick enough, so I'm just going to go like this, and there we go, we have the rest of these. Okay, so once we have these, let's see what else can we add. So let's go to component, open up this drop menu. So we have the pavement symbol, so this one is for the disabled parking spot, so let's add it here just because it's the closest one to the building, and usually you should have it there. So we have that placed over here. Now it's hosted on the floor asphalt, so that's why I don't have to do that little offset, just because it's already hosted on that offset floor. So we have that. Let's see what else. Let's go here to component, and we can see, do we have, I think we have one of these pavement lines, but we should, or arrows, but I'm not really sure how is that called, so I have to scroll a bit here. Okay, it might be on the bottom. Okay, here we go. So we have the straight arrow and straight and turn. So we can add maybe the straight and turn here. Let's flip it around. Place one maybe here, so you know you can turn here. And let's see, can we flip it to the other side? Or let's see, how does this work when we place it? Yeah, we can flip it around. There we go. So maybe place one here as well. Okay, this is really useful, and let's see, you have to just double check, select it, and then see is the host the right floor, and in this case it is. Same thing here, so just make sure that that's set up correctly, and now we can go into 3D just to double check everything, and I think this is now looking really nice. So we can leave it at that for our site and all of our road markings and parking. Now, one more thing that I should definitely mention when talking about the site, and that's the building pad. So once we have created this topography all the way around our building, if I go here into the project browser and open up one of the sections, let's go with maybe section 2, that's the one where we added most detail, you're going to notice that now we have this, well, we have our terrain that's going through our building, and that's definitely not something that we want to have. So in order to fix this, what you can do is go back into your site plan. So let's go here to site, select your site, or go here to mask and site and find building pad. Now you just select building pad, and now you can place basically an opening in the ground where your building is going to be located. Now for this building, it's we can't really see properly where it is just because we have this overhang. So in that case, maybe let's switch to street level. Much better. Now here we can see the actual edge of the building. Now you just go with pick lines and you sketch out here using these foundation walls as reference, and you sketch out all the way around this building. I think it goes just like this. There we go. And that's it. Okay, so now we just use the trim and extend to corner to finish this off, and I think that's it. Now when I hit finish, let's go back into our section 2 and let's see what we have created. Okay, so now the ground is going all the way up, so this is wrong as well. So the problem with this is because this is now located on the ground level, but actually we want to locate it here underground. Let's see, where is it now? Okay, so it's somewhere over here. It's on the underground level, but we want to go to underground and then some. So here it's 58 plus 30, that's 88. So let's try and add minus 88 offset. And there we go, this is the building pad. Now the problem with this building pad is it has a thickness. Now you can use this as your foundation if that's something you want. If you go here into edit type for your building pad, you can go here into edit, and as you can see, you can insert layers or whatever you want, but actually I don't like my building pads to be my foundation, just because for the categories the foundation should be foundation and the building pad is just, well, it's just a pad. So in that case, what I like to do is turn this into earth. So I change the thickness to something really small, like 1 centimeter, and here for category material I just find earth. And here we go, earth. So you just select that, and it has the same hatch pattern as the rest of it, so just click OK. OK again, apply, OK. So it's barely noticeable here below the building. Also, if you don't want to use earth, what you can use is gravel. Usually for pouring concrete, you would put some gravel underneath, depending on the location and on the ground type, so you can add something like that. But anyways, the reason for this is it mitigates that problem of, well, your earth or your site going through your building. And there we go, we have fixed that by using the building pad, and now our section looks perfect. Now I'm going to be talking about ceiling plans for a little bit. So for ceiling plans, here in the project browser, you scroll just a little bit down, and here we have ceiling plans. Now you should expand this menu, and here we automatically get a ceiling plan for each level that we have created. So when you get a floor plan, you usually get a ceiling plan that goes along with it. Now let's go here to the first level ceiling plan, and let's see what can we see over here. So this is basically what you get for your ceiling plan. We have our ceiling, and then we have all of these separations that we have for the grid. So this is the ceiling grid, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I like to use ceiling plans for two purposes. One is, well, for its original purpose, and that's a ceiling plan, so you can just see what the ceiling would look like, where the separations between panels would go, and also really important, and that's light placement. Now the second one is your construction. So I like to show off the construction, or use the ceiling plan to show off the, well, reflected floor plan, so you can have some sort of an idea of what the construction looks like. So if I select this ceiling, if I can only select it somehow, there we go. Underneath this ceiling there is a construction. There's all of those beams and everything that's holding this building in place. So that's the second thing that I want to kind of represent with our ceiling plan. But for now, let's just use this one, and let's use this one for lighting first. So to add lights to your ceiling plan, what you do is pretty much pretty basic, pretty simple. So you just go here to component, and then you need to find some lights. Now I just go here to component, go into load family, and then let's skip back a couple of folders to go back to our US metric library, and here I'm going to search for lighting. So here we have the lighting folder. Open that up, and here we have architectural lighting. Open that up, and here we have external and internal. Now we're going to be talking about external lighting a bit later on. That's really only for renderings and things like that, but for our ceiling plan, the internal light is what we're looking for. So let's just open that up, and here let's see what we have. So here as you can see, we have many lights, but the ones that we're looking for are ceiling lights, and we have this one, the linear box, and we have the flat round one. Okay, so I'm actually going to load both of these in. Now feel free to scroll down and see what else there is. So we have lamps like this, we have this one that looks, well, this does look like a ceiling lamp, but yeah, let's stick with these two for now. So we have these, and yeah, we also have these like recessed cans, things like this, the down lights, but yeah, let's go with these two for now. Okay, so just select those two and hit open. Now once these open, as you can see, they will automatically attach to your ceiling. They are hosted on the ceiling. So let's see, we have these two types, and we have the ceiling, the round one, and we have the linear box. Let's start off with the round one. Here you have different ones for different purposes. Now for these common spaces, I like to use maybe some of these less bright lights, and then for working areas, I like to use more of the stronger lights. So let's go with the maybe the 60 watt 277 volt lamp here, one for the here in front of the elevator. So you just place it like this. You can place it maybe here in the center of this one of these panels, or you can just place it ordinarily. Let's go and maybe place it like this. Here I'm going to place one here, and yeah, and let's add a few of those here. So maybe one here, one here, and one here. Now if you're not really sure about the placement, what you can do to make it a bit easier, you can align these. So maybe let's place this one where I actually want it to be, and that's in the middle of this ceiling panel. Now once this is in a correct position, let's say I'm happy with the positioning, what I can do is go here to the modify tab, and then use the align tool and find the horizontal line like this, and then align this to that, and then go with this horizontal line and align this one as well. Now for the spacing between these, let's move this off to the side a little bit. For that, I like to use the aligned dimension. You can find it here or here on the quick access toolbar, or just use the shortcut DI. Okay, once we have that aligned dimension, select the vertical line now, vertical line here, and the vertical line here. Move it out down here, and then hit EQ, and now this is centered. Now if this is hitting the middle of the panel, what I like to do is just select this and move it just one panel over, and there we go. Now each of these are in the middle, and now you can select your EQ dimension and hit delete. Now you're going to notice that you have this warning over here, and I just leave it with OK. So these are still constrained. So if we move this one, the other one will move as well, and that's what we want to have. But they're no longer there's no longer that dimension. That's really annoying. Okay, so we have these lamps here for the common areas, and let's add maybe a couple of those here for our break room. So for that, let's go back to component, and maybe we can add 4 of these, one in each of these panels. Okay, maybe this is enough for this room, and again I like to align those just so I can have some proper alignment, and that's again with the modify, align, and then I go like this, align this to that, then I align these two, and then I align these two, and then I align this one to that one. Oops. There we go. Okay, so these are now all aligned in a perfect square, and that's what they want to have. Okay, so we have some lights for these common areas, and now for all of the other areas, let's go with a bit brighter lights. So let's go here to component, and actually I'm going to switch to one of these lights, and let's see, let's use the horizontal ones, and I'm going to use the 600 by 600 millimeter one. There we go, and you're going to notice that it actually fits perfectly inside of this ceiling square. So what you can use that for is just for basically placing it here in the correct ceiling position. So what I like to do is just place it off to the side, go to the modify tool, and then select it, go with the move tool, select the corner, and place it right here in the intersection of these. And there we go. So we have one here, and then maybe we can, or maybe move it off to the other one. Let's place it here. I think it's a better position, and then I can copy it, and then let's just copy it over by one. Okay, so we have a couple of those here. Maybe we can add one here for this room, and then let's add a few here for the conference room. Maybe one more. There we go, looks okay, and then we can again add these for other offices. Now what you can do is just make a cross selection of these, just make sure that only these 4 lights are selected, then go here to copy, select one of the corners, and then just copy it over to the other office here, and this office here as well. And there we go, so we have all of these lights over here. Now let's add some lights here for this large open space office area, and for that I'm going to go here to component, and let's see what else do we have. Okay, we have the 600 by 1200, so that's cool. So let's use one of these. Now I'm going to hit the, or yeah, let's place it like this. I don't know. So let's go over here, just place it like this, and then go to the move tool, select the little corner here, or select this item, hit enter, and then select the corner and place it right on the intersection, and then you just go to copy, make sure that multiple is still active, and then you can maybe place it like this. Let's go with one more over here. I think this is enough to illuminate this office area. Then select all 4 again. Whenever making selections in your model, just because we have added so much complexity to the model, you might accidentally select something else. So anytime you make a group cross selection like this, just check out the properties and find here what it says. So it says lighting fixtures 4, so we know that we've only selected the items that we wanted to select. Go here to move, and then let's, or actually copy, make sure that multiple is still active, and let's copy it. So let's maybe do one here. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. So this is 4, 5, and then we can do one more here. There we go. I think this looks correct. Maybe no, just to nudge it just a little bit. Okay, so we still have only the lights selected. I'm just going to move them all just by one module over here. There we go, it looks perfect. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Let's turn off 10 lines. Yeah, it still looks good. Okay, so I'm really happy with this, and now we have a proper ceiling plan with all of the lights. We just have to add a few more here for the bathrooms. So for that, let's see what else can we add over here. So for the bathroom, I know here we have 2 stalls. So what we can do for in that case, just because we're not cutting through those stalls, if I go here to first level, here we go. So we have these toilet partitions, and we can't see that in our reflective ceiling plan. So what you can do in that case is just go here to your view range settings, or type in VR to get the same menu, and then for the cut plane you can just change that to something a bit smaller. So let's go to 130 just for a second, just so we can see those stalls or those partitions. And now we can add these lights there. So I'm actually just going to select this light, go with, or actually let's move it a bit there. Okay, go with CS, or right click and then find create similar, same tool, and then I'm going to place one here in the middle of this stall, one in the middle of this one, and then let's add one more here where our wash basin is. There we go. And now we can just select these, and then okay, I want to select this, hold the control key, select these two, and then you can use the mirror pick axis tool and just mirror to the other side. And then I'm just going to use the arrow keys just to nudge it a bit off to the side. There we go. I think this looks perfect now. And we have to have one here as well. So select one of these, right click, create similar, and then let's add one more here in the middle, and I think that's it. So we have all of our lights for our office. Now for the stair, you can add some lights. I'm actually going to add wall lights for the stair, but as far as ceiling lights, I think we have all of our ceiling lights completed. Now we can change the view range back to what it was. So let's go here to view range in the properties, and let's change it to 230 where it was previously. Okay, now one thing that I find kind of annoying, and if I zoom in here to this light, for example, is it kind of gets eaten away by this ceiling grid. Now you can't really change the ceiling grid, but what you can do is you can change the ceiling. So if I select the ceiling grid, here, as you can see, it is categorized by ceiling. So if you want to change the visibility settings for that, what you can do is you can go into VG or visibility graphics. So just go here to properties for the view, find visibility graphics, and then scroll down, and here we have, okay, ceilings. Open that up. So here what you can do for your ceilings is you can just turn on halftone, hit apply, and there we go. So we still have those partitions for the ceiling, but the lights are kind of popping out a little bit more, and that's what I like to see. So I don't like it when the ceiling lines kind of eat up all of my lights. So as you can see now, it looks a lot better. Now let me show you how to use your reflective ceiling plans in order to show the construction of your floors. So all of those beams and things like that. So here, when I go to structure, we used some beams. We used a beam system for our ceiling construction. So let's see how, or our floor construction. So let's see how can we represent that. Now what I'm going to do now is go here to our ceiling plans, right click, and then go here to duplicate view. Now I'm just going to duplicate it like this, and then I'm going to call it first a level. Let's rename it, and let's call it rename, and let's call it construction. So dash construction. Hit enter, and then what I'm going to do is show off construction in this view. So how do you do that? Well, first we have to hide some elements. So what I'm going to do is just do a cross selection like this of pretty much everything. Go into filter, and then let's filter out just what we want to select. So let's check none first. Then let's scroll down, up. Okay, ceilings, check that, and the lighting fixtures, check that. Hit apply. Okay, so all of our ceilings and lighting fixtures are naturally now selected. And now I'm just going to go here to hide in view, and let's hide those elements. Now once you hide those elements, it's just going to be blank like this, and that's okay. So the reason for this is, well, it could be two reasons: either visibility graphic overrides or view range settings. So let's check first the visibility graphic overrides and then the view range settings. So what I'm going to do is go here into visibility graphic overrides, open that menu up, and here let's scroll down into structural elements, and here we have all of these structural elements, but the structural framing is turned off. Now structural framing, most of beams and beam systems, that's all categorized as structural framing, so I should turn that back on. Here, as you can see, those are all the types of beams. So if I just check that on, hit apply, okay, and now we can actually see it, and that's what we want to have. Now here we can still see these walls. Now you might want to include those, you might not want to include those, so I'm actually just going to keep the exterior walls and these interior walls because they're just partition walls. I like to get rid of those for these reflective ceiling plans that show off construction. So I just keep holding the control key and then just getting rid of these walls. So just select all of those walls and hide those in view as well. Okay, so now we have a proper construction view over here. Now once we have this reflective ceiling plan with construction in place, we can tag it a little bit. So that's why I'm here on the annotate tab. Now before we get into that, I'm just going to go here to, let's start with maybe this span direction symbol, and let's use it on this floor over here and just place it like that. So this is showing the span for this floor. Now for the beam system, here we have an option for the beam system symbol, and let's just find the beam system here. So you have to hover kind of over the edge of the beam system, and then you get this symbol, and then you can place it wherever, like this. Now here it's just showing you the rectangular beam that's being used. So it's the concrete rectangular beam, 200 by 400 millimeters, and here at 117.68, that's the distances between the center lines. So if I go like this, as you can see, that's that number. So it's just going to give us information on that. We can also tag some of the elements, so you can go here to tag by category, and then you can tag the beams perhaps. Let's get rid of the leader. Yeah, just like this. So you can tag all of these. Oops. There we go. And this one here as well. So you can tag all of your beams. You can see what else do you want to tag. So you can tag some of these, but yeah, I prefer not to tag those. Let's see, what else can we tag. I think this is good enough. I don't want to over constrain the model. And here you can use the boxed one or the standard one, so just choose what works for you. I can leave it with the boxed one for this. So you can add some of those symbols or tags just to basically give a bit more information on the construction of this ceiling construction, or the whole floor construction. Now, one more tool that I would like to explore is the path of travel tool. So path of travel allows us to create these path of travel floor plans that are really useful for your projects. Now, it can be found here on your Analyze tab. Here's the path of travel, but we have to have a regular floor plan for that. So let me go here to the project browser. Underneath floor plans, let's go to first level, and I'm actually going to duplicate this one again. So let's just do duplicate, and here we have this tree that's now visible just because we have loaded it in for the site. Now I don't want to see it here in this floor plan, so I'm just going to select it and then hide that element. Now let's rename this floor plan, so just right click, rename, and then let's do path of travel. Okay, so once we have that in place, let's go here to route analysis on the Analyze tab, and let's click on path of travel. Once again, just to remind you, if you're using some earlier version of Revit, you're not going to have this tool. This is for 2020 and newer versions. Okay, so let me click here for path of travel, and here it's pretty simple. So you just tag here on you just click once and then twice, and that's it. So we can click here, maybe this is where you want to go, and then you click here, and it basically calculates the path of travel. Now you want to go and do the first click in the actual office, and then the second click here in the hallway or the escape route. So let me go back, and actually let me go here to the staircase. So or oops. So let's start off here maybe from the break room. So path of travel, start from the break room and then go all the way here. So it's calculating that route, and you can actually select that line, and here you have the speed that's currently loaded in, and then you have the time. So it takes 11 seconds at this speed to come from the break room all the way here. Now here we have some update options, so if you want to if you change something, you can update it here. So let's do a bit more. So let's go here to path of travel, click here in this office, let's go to the same spot, this office as well, maybe the conference room, this room over here, okay, so here it's having some problems. Let's try again. There we go, it's working now. And then let's go here from the back of this office. So it's calculating, and as you can see, it's calculating carefully between these desks, and that's really important. And let's go once again like this. There we go, so this is working. And then you can do one here from this bathroom, just like that, and one from here, and perhaps one from here. And there you go, so you have all of these paths of travel. Now you can update that here. If you open this up, here you can check all of the elements that are basically being viewed as something that you can't walk around. And here you also have the analysis zone plan, so if anything is higher than 20 centimeters or lower than 200 centimeters, or it's below 203 centimeters, it's going to be viewed as an obstacle. So for example, these tables here, that's why they're viewed as obstacles. So that's basically how you create these lines. And now you can select all of these lines, and here we have the time that it takes. So you should just check out the code. So if maybe the fire code says that you should be able to get to the stairwell in less than 20 seconds, then this being probably the longest line over here is working. So this office will pass that code. So that's how you use this cool path of travel tool. Now you can update these lines. So if I select these lines, you can see here this is the line style that's being used, so you can actually change that if that's something that you want to do. You can go here to the Manage tab, go to Additional Settings, go to Line Styles, and open up this menu, and here just find the path of travel line, and maybe you can change it to, I don't know, blue color. We're using a lot of blue in this project, so let's go with this blue, a bit lighter blue. There we go, I think this looks cool. So there we go, we have our path of travel floor plan over here. That's basically representing how fast can everybody get out of the building. And later on we can do schedules for this path of travel floor plan, just to calculate each room. Okay, so that's it for the path of travel tool. Okay, so I think we're just over an hour for this part, so I'm going to be stopping over here, and that concludes this week's course. So we went over all of these elements. I hope you have learned something new, and I hope you have learned more about workflow in Revit, and I'll be back next week with, well, the continuation of this building course. So till next week, thank you for watching and have a nice day.